Hello and welcome back. This is Ruth Hamilton with another craft video for Tonic Studios. Today I've got number 15 in the designer choice sets, and this one is called the Delicate Daisy gift box. So as you can see, it comes on a sheet of acetate, all the dies together there, and they come inside this sleeve. I'm just going to put the sleeve aside because of the glare, and then I'll show you some of the lovely dies. So these two here are the main dies to make up the little gift box shape. We've got the base, and this one, as you can see, has 6 sides. So this little hexagon shows you that you're going to need 6 of these shapes together. Now the difference in these two is that one has a little slit and the other's just plain at the top. So when you cut these out, you'll need to cut 6 in total to go with this base. So we'll be cutting 3 of this one and 3 of this one, and then we'll alternate them around the outside of this base shape. Now the rest of the dies are decorative. This one makes a lovely 3D flower shape, and these ones are all little panels which you can put inside here. So you can have a plain one or a little scalloped edge one, and then there are more intricate detailed ones to go inside of that, as you can see from the beginning of the video where I've made up lots of lovely little samples. So that's all you'll need. The basic shapes then are these 3, and I'll just set this aside for a moment or two, get my card out, and I'll show you how to make one. I've gone ahead and cut out some of these shapes. I've got lots of them ready, but I thought I would just show you how I die cut some of the other details in the thing. So what I normally do, if there's quite a few pieces going to go through at the same time, if we bear in mind we've got 6 of each of these to do because we're going to put one on each panel, rather than put them all through singly, I end up taping them together like this, so there's enough space that they'll not get caught in the die machine, but they're going to be cut out individually, and then I try to fit as many onto the card as possible. So then when I flip this over, so that I don't have to go through it with the embossing plate again and the embossing mat, I just take an embossing tool like this, flip these over, and while they're still in the die, just quickly run around the outside like that, and then you can feel the edge of the die and you can feel where that line is, and it's very, very quickly done, and it just gives you that little bit of detail. When you pop that out, you'll be able to see the little embossed line. So that's how I do that, and I'll just go back and finish the rest of these. I thought I'd stop in the middle of that just to show you how I do that. Now I've gone ahead and done all the die cutting that I need for the moment. So I've got 6 of these, 3 of each, and then I have used this one for the base. I've got that here. I've used the rosette one for this, and I'll show you how to make that up. And then I have used this. I've actually picked out the plain ones with the little scalloped edge. So I've got the shapes here that fit onto the panels, and I've got the little one for the top, and I've got the petal or leaf shape, and that'll be the ones that are all matching because they've all got the little scallops. There's also ones in the set that are plain around the outside, but I have used the Jungle Fever speciality card, which is really beautiful, and there's a lovely texture and a lovely pattern to it. So I decided not to use the dies with the detail on that, but you can see how I've used those on some of the samples that are at the beginning of the video. But for now I've got all my pieces cut and I'm ready to go, and what I've done is set this piece in the centre. Now that's going to be the bottom, and I'll turn it facing down, the right side facing down, and I've taken all of these little pieces and I have pushed the edges in, to the outside, folded them over. I can tidy all that up and make sure they're properly scored and folded with this little bone folder. The base one goes in facing to the inside because that is going to attach on here the whole way around that, and then each other fold gets folded this way, so they're all facing the same direction. So you can see that sideways there. So this one goes in the way, and then each other one goes like that. So now I have got all of those ready, except this one, just to show you how to do it. So the base goes in, that's the bit that's going to join onto the bottom. these side pieces here and here will both come this way, facing towards the outside. They're going to get glued together, and a little tip for that is a little set of pegs. I always keep these handy because they're really good if you want a lot of wet glue to dry at the one time. So I'll show you how I do that, but that's all the pieces scored and ready to go. Now before I add them around here, I'm going to go ahead and glue all these pieces onto the panels so they'll all match up then before I'll just show you what I'm going to do. So that one on there, that one on there, this piece on here, and then a little, move that, this part on here. And I'm going to go ahead and glue all those together with my Nuvo adhesive. So now that I've got all of these ready, the main thing to remember whenever I'm attaching them onto this is to alternate the ones that have got the little slit in them. So we have one without a slit, one with a slit, and glue these onto the bottom, remembering that the whole way around. So I'm going to add some glue onto this little flap here, and then I'll attach that on here, turn it over and check that it's just in exactly the right spot there. And then remembering that this one doesn't have a slit, the next one on either side will need to have, so that would be the main thing to remember. Don't forget that actually, because it's very important when you come to the end. If you've got it wrong, you'll have to redo the whole thing. Got all the pieces glued together, as you can see, on both sides, and all these little pieces are folded outwards. Oh well, most of them are. There's one I forgot. So this is where my little pegs come in really handy, because I want to attach all these together the whole way around, but I don't want to do just one or two at a time. I want to keep carrying on until it's finished. So you could use red liner tape, but I think it would be quite difficult and quite time consuming. So this is fast grab glue, and really it's quite easy, but the pegs just make it so much easier. So if I just put a little bit of glue on each flap like this, and then I attach that one to there, if you can see that right, the glue's on one side, put them both together, hold them like so, and when I've got that like that, my little peg is just going to hold that perfectly in place. You can adjust it slightly just for a minute or two until you get it exactly right. You can see there, and then I can do it again with this one, and I can carry on that same procedure the whole way around this little box, and it's glued together in no time then, rather than just waiting for each one to dry, because you don't want to keep moving on around the box and maybe one or two of those opening. So these hold it really well. So I'll just carry on and enjoy. That's the little box all glued together. So all that remains to be done now is to take these top petals and fold them over. So you're going to put the one that has no slit through the one with the slit right opposite, and just put this little piece in here and there, and then follow ahead with the others, and that's the little box finished, and it'll have a lovely little flower shaped closure at the top then, and it looks really nice. So there we are. I've got a sore wrist, so I'm afraid that's just a bit of a problem for me today. But there we are. It's actually very easily done, but this wrist isn't moving properly. Hopefully I'll get it sorted soon. There you are. Isn't that really cute? Isn't that lovely? And the other little thing I've done is I've gone ahead with the large die that cuts these shapes out. So I've done this one and I've cut it out 3 times. I've gone ahead and made 2 little flowers with it, and then I'm going to show you how to do that using one of the die cuts that I have ready here. So I'm going to just show you, bring it back out again here. So we're going to grab the edge of it with the tweezers on the outside edge and then twist around and kind of keep the bottom as close as you can to each other as it goes around there. Don't be sort of moving that away up the tweezers. So basically you're just going to twirl that around until you get the whole thing done. I just carry on. When you get to the end, then you just add some glue onto the little round piece at the end there. So this little piece here is where you're going to add the glue, that little flap on there, and then bring the tweezers out of the flower shape, just like so. Just release them and let them out, and then just let that take a moment or two to release a little bit, but not too much, because you want a nice little tight flower on there. And press the centre down in, and there you have it. 3 lovely little flowers, and they can be used as a decoration on the front panel here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there's the finished gift box. I think it looks really lovely, those colours together. So this is Ivory Craft Perfect texture weave card that I've used for the base, and then Jungle Fever speciality card on top there, and it looks really lovely, the two together. And those little flowers of course are made of the same ivory card that's here. I've made another little sample which has already gone off to Tonic, so I'll just show you how I did that very briefly. So I cut out 6 of these shapes. Now I didn't need the top and I didn't want to waste that, so I really just set the die on roughly about there on each piece and cut it off, and then ran that through the die cutting machine. So obviously it didn't matter whether they had slits or hadn't, but when I used the 2 and put them on the card and ran them through at the same time, that meant I only had 3 passes to do, and then I was able to assemble that and make a lovely little box. So you can see from the little box on the photographs that it doesn't have these pieces sitting out at the side. So on every other piece I cut one of those off and then glued the other on the inside, so none of those were visible. So I've cut one off on each, this one and this one on each shape the whole way around the box, and glued the other one onto the inside. And then if you assume that these aren't here this time, I've really just folded that down in and made a lovely little top. So then I cut little petals. I've actually cut 12 of them, and I have folded them in half and just placed them around the top of the card. So it's just like this. I've cut one of each colour. I think on my sample I've cut one patterned paper and one plain paper. So on this I've done one of the green ones and one of the ivory ones, and I've folded them in half and then really just going to attach one half to here like so, and make that little shape. And then, sorry, just make sure it's, again, that this is where my pegs would come in very handy, but if I've got those together properly, and then just on one edge here, then I would glue that around the outside of the little box. So that's how that was done, just like so. And then attach the next one in here and just work my way around the box. So it would look like that without the inside of it. So the little box is going to look like this, and then we've got little leaves on the top. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a cute little set. There's lots of different things you could do with it, but I particularly like this 3D element on top of it. And don't forget that you can use those little decorative panels to give you a little lacy look through here, or you could even use those on the plain card itself without adding the top card, and then that would give you little openings where you could see through to whatever's on the inside of it, and maybe even put a little light or some coloured tissue paper or something like that. So there you are. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed this video, and that way you'll see what's coming next. There's always lots of things in the pipeline, and I'd enjoy your company along the way. So thank you very, very much indeed, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!